and loyalty in that sense. Like what you can do to retain is, here's a finished product, use it. Um, Subsequently, I will make improvements on said finished product. A
Mm,
bit of
yeah,
tweaks here,
yeah.
bit of tweaks there, right? And then not announce anything. And then how you drive loyalty is, hey, by the way, you remember that thing that we said that we weren't gonna do? Now we're
We,
gonna do it, right? But no fanfare, no nothing. It's just here you are. So the same thing with No Man's Sky, right?
yeah,
They could have just tanked it and go, okay, you know what? Cut our losses, tails between our legs, and just fuck off. But they go, no, no, we promised you something, we'll deliver. Right. So in that sense, retention and then creates loyalty, because now people are talking about it. Like, oh, you should buy No Man's Sky, it's the best thing ever, blah, 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 blah. Everything's free. Developers are giving what they promise and more. So there's that fine line between loyalty portion. It's when you become an advocate of the game, advocate of the brand, advocate of the person or product, then it becomes loyalty.
I
But
got you.
until, yeah,
Give me a second.
okay.
On that note, I just want to
Mm.
say we are rolling. The NPCs are back, and today we're talking about loyalty stuff and basically relationships. And I think it's perfect. It's perfect because just yesterday we were talking to Dean about Helldivers 2 and how that community is, I don't want to say fever pitch, but they have loyalty to the brand, to the product, to what is being said and what is being done from the developers end. And what we're talking about today, and what Armand's brought up today, is like it's not just retention. Retention is just sort of the bells and whistles we throw out there and go, yeah, don't leave without me, or please enjoy this. But also the fact that like, how do you build a fan base that trusts you? You know what I mean? Like in so many ways. So again, we're back with Armand and Joshua, and we're talking about loyalty. But it was really cool because one of the things that we talked about just before going live on recording was the fact that Star Wars Outlaws is going to do the whole Street Fighter X Tekken, where they're going to launch the game, and the game can be 69 US dollars, 69, or it can be at $107 US for the full effect. Apparently, full effect meaning the Jabba the Hutt DLC and another DLC. And this is like launch day ready DLC.
Ooh,
Okay, and
shit.
the excuses are kind of done, right? Like we saw this during Street Fighter Cross Tekken, right? That like,
Mm,
oh, they said they didn't have time to put the DLC onto the disc, and it was sub development later on, and they apologized profusely. Please buy the game, right?
mm,
Here's a slightly discounted DLC. But this is not the case, right? This is going to be probably a digital download game, because if you bought the physical copy of this said game, you'd have to have like maybe 3 Blu-rays, okay, to fit all of that information on, right? Because the average game now is what, 100 gigs.
Mhm.
So what is Ubisoft doing, like thinking about it? You know what I mean? Like before they even get to store shelves in any digital format seller, they've already lost a whole bunch of people.
Mhm.
Like those who would have sung the praises of Ubisoft, saying that, oh, they're not Bethesda, they're not Activision Blizzard. Now they're sort of going down this path to be like, oh shit, I guess we're all wrong. It's a sad story to start off the thing with, but what are your thoughts on that? And like, kind of give me the rundown of like what your feeling is about loyalty. Anyone, jump in.
Joshua, the floor is all yours.
so disappointing, right, guys? It's and again, it's Ubisoft, right? So it's not the first time that they're in a situation like this with fans, with gamers.
Mm.
It's so, and you're right. It's like the Street Fighter Cross Tekken situation again. After what? When was the game released? Like 13 years ago, right?
I want to say just after '08, right? Because it'd have been Street Fighter 4 launches in '08. It picks up steam, and then they go, "Hey, let's do a thing with Cross Tekken."
Mm.
That'd have been 2010 or 2011, I think, or
Yeah.
2012,
So,
something
so
like that.
roughly then and about then, right? So
Yeah.
it's so crazy because even back then it's so predatory. But even now, I don't know how you can. I mean, just because the IP is Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's taking for granted what a very strong fan base, even after all. I'm sorry to say this, all the cock ups from Disney and it's with the streaming movie the series and so on, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
tell me about it.
I don't know how do you justify creating content, expecting gamers to pay full price game, and you're gonna lock something that is available on day one at almost close to double the price. And I, I don't know how you get away with stuff like that, and or what's discussed in boardrooms and really feel that
Mm,
they can get away with things like this.
yeah. No, you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean I would assume that they're not stupid, right? So they must be
You
really,
would think so,
really.
right?
You would, yeah, I would think so. Maybe I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But it makes me wonder if they're really ready, right, to say, or they have already said this, where we are ready for the eventual attrition. Fuck the loyalty. Some people are still
Mm,
going to be so loyal; they're going to pay us close to double for DLC content day one,
yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, wow, it's ballsy, right, to do this. Like,
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, who exactly are they targeting? Right? Clearly, they are alienating the fan base. They're probably targeting like 9, 10-year-olds. Like, mommy, I want the new Star Wars game. But yeah, Joshua, as you said, like in terms of loyalty, I think most of the developers are just blaming a lot of things on us as
Mm,
opposed retrospecting to see like, hey, have you ever considered like not alienating us? Because again, that's what loyalty is. You became a thing because of the fan base. Your IP is strong because of the fan base, right? That in turn
hmm.
begins loyalty, right? Because again, you've done something for me, and as a show of gratification, I will support anything that you do. Again, bottom
mm,
Hmm.
line, that is loyalty, right? Bottom line, that is loyalty, right? But to then go, oh, you know what? Let's just put this behind $100 thing, and then screw all the fans. I go like, are you guys that tone deaf to always bring this up? Like again, when you brought up the whole Disney Plus series, and they're trying to create different ideas on Star Wars. Like, don't get me wrong, I am a diehard fan of Star Wars, but I've already told this to John. Like,
Hmm.
I've checked out. I've checked out of
mm,
anything that is Star Wars now because, again, as a kid growing up watching Star Wars on Dunhill Double on
Yeah.
national television, right?
mm.
Okay, that was my first time watching Star Wars, and my first time watching Star Wars actually Return of the Jedi. I watched it backwards
Okay.
to have that much love for something and always stand my ground. And if anybody spoke ill or so, I go like, "Yo, you wanna have a problem, right?" That's loyalty because
Yeah.
affinity towards the brand, right?
Yeah, bro.
And now brands are turning around and say, "You know what? You're the toxic thing about our brand." I go like, "Hold up, what?"
Yeah.
Mm.
That's fucked up.
But
I'm.
if we look at the what's leveled at us, right, as fans and as consumers, right, they use, especially in gaming, they tell us things like, oh, it's not uh it's costly now in today's day and age to develop a triple A game or a triple game basically a big title, right? And it's not cheap anymore. There is so much expectation. You guys expect 4K graphics, you expect all these things, and we have to get our sweatshop guys ready in Vietnam for these,
From Malaysia.
or Malaysia. It's like, these things don't come cheap, guys. This is why we have to. But then again, with most of us, I think there's a certain amount where, yes, we can understand that, okay, if it's something a little bit more, we can help, right? I mean, you give us some of this free DLC content and all. I mean,
Mhm,
there is a fine balance, and I think a lot of us can see through it, where you're being either developing something because you care for us or
mhm.
for the IP itself, or once you start delving into predatory practices, right? That's where it's like, hey, this is wrong.
Yeah, That's hilarious because sorry,
Yeah,
Joshua,
no,
but
go ahead.
the
Mm.
news, because you brought it up. I just literally just watched this like 5 minutes ago. It was on Game Ranks.
Yeah,
Mm.
Top 10 most ridiculous gaming news of April so far, right? A developer, this actually said, you know what? You guys should start thinking of tipping your programmers. Like
bollocks.
Huh?
Fuck off.
who? Us?
Fuck off.
The user? I
Yeah,
was
no,
like,
fuck right
what?
off. Jesus, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm
No,
sorry.
bro, doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no. That is the exact same thing I read in Wizard magazine a while back. I still have the episode of the issue here
Right.
from the '90s. It was the argument was Liefeld, guy who drew Spawn, what's his name, Todd McFarlane,
Todd McFarlane,
and
Mm.
the other
Jim
guy,
Lee.
Jim Lee. Yeah, they all left Marvel and DC collectively
Mm.
because and Sam Keith because they couldn't get royalties for the characters they created.
Mm.
They were under the employ of a company, but they didn't own the masters of these created characters. For one thing, they didn't negotiate it.
Mm.
Okay, it was
Mm,
not in their contracts to negotiate something like that.
mm,
But the other sadder thing is to see what we talked about many episodes ago about owning your masters. It's like, yeah, you should get a certain percentage point off of the sales of your hard work. If you're the game developer lead on this project and
mm,
you have a core team, I think you should be. The contracts need to be reworked a little bit here. But
Mm.
right
mm.
now, we get a lot of these big motherfucker corporations that just come in like, what's the name of the one that I shared it the other day? It's not Eduardo. It's not Edmonds. It's like fuck. Ed something or E something. I can't remember what it was. It's this conglomerate that goes around buying up all these companies
Mm.
and just making a hash of everything. It's just this idea that there's like money to be made from efficiency.
Mm,
Mm.
And so many times they buy an IP and the people who hold the rights to the IPs of Star Wars or Transformers and all that kind of stuff, they
mm,
have they want money. And
mm.
if you're willing to pay for the IP, it goes to the highest bidder.
Right.
Mm.
Sad, right? What happened to Star Wars 1919, 2013? I was looking forward to that Bounty Hunter
Oh
only
yeah,
game.
they tanked it, right?
Did he even make it out of the store? Did he even make it out of their offices? And I
Yeah.
was just like, it looked good. I want to play as a bounty hunter for once, man. For once, I don't want to be a freaking glow stick wielding dude. You know what I
Hey,
Closely building, dude.
mean? Yeah.
not going to raves, okay?
But that's the sad part about this whole thing is that like you were once loyal to Star Wars, and now because there's so too much Star Wars, you can no longer be loyal to them. They kind of mess with the consumer so much, and they force fit so much trash down your throat. They're just like, what am I even doing here? Marvel's the same thing, right? Like, I kind
Mm.
of like I watched Marvels out of I don't know, just
Did you get
because I
free tickets for it?
no. I waited till Disney Plus came out. But I
Oh, okay,
watched
okay.
it and I was like, okay, I'm watching it because I kind of want to know what happens and what is going to happen next, so I don't miss
Mm,
anything out, right? And then
mm,
I watch
Mm.
it and I go, "What the fuck? How how is it that the it's not even let's not even talk about directors here, okay?
right.
Let's because it's not them who yeah, they probably have some say in the script. They probably have some say in how it's directed and how you weave the story together, but the real crux of this problem lies squarely on the shoulders of someone like Kevin Feige, someone like I don't know what's the guy's name who used to draw Ash, but he's now the executive at Marvel. Ah,
Draw Ash.
Ash. You remember Ash is like he was also one of the, not an Image comic, but it was like a Top Cow or something like that, and
Right. Okay.
he's like some firefighter that gained the power of fire, and they called him Ash. I can't remember, but I remember I recognized the name when it came back.
Okay. Okay.
So I saw all this and I was just like, how are you guys not responsible for the I get that Disney's bought you. I get that people want content. But
Mm,
you can't keep shit shoveling all the time. Like
yes.
Mm.
someone's gotta go through this with a fine tooth comb and going, hey, does anyone think that this is a good idea?
Mm.
But see, the question is, who are they asking? Are they asking the loyalists, or are they asking a bunch of focus group people? between the ages of
I
18
don't
to
even think they're
55.
asking. I don't even think they're asking. I don't think they're asking at all. They're just going, hey, you know what? Every series we put up there has to be followed by a series of Marvel, and then followed by a series on Star Wars,
Okay.
and we're gonna keep shuffleboarding all this content until people feel that they're getting their necessary worth of paying 15.90 a month or 16 ringgit or whatever it is that I'm paying now for Disney Plus, so that
Mhm.
I feel that I don't have to leave the platform. I feel that I don't have to. It's like a gym membership, right? They trap
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
They go, oh no, there's other stuff coming. You gotta pay, and but the gym membership's different. They sign you up for a year or 2 years, and they go, well, if you don't come, it's your fault.
Okay, but see, in that context, they've pretty much got the whole retention bit on lock, but they don't have the loyalty bit
No, they don't.
fine tuned,
No,
Mm.
like
right?
it's
Because again, it
it's yeah, it's so bits and pieces, isn't it?
right. So yeah, so having said that, right? Like, where does that lie? Like, will game developers continue to just do what they think will make money? Will developers just go, like, I remember CD Project Red, right,
Hmm.
was one of those developers that, okay, we're here to listen to the fans and we'll give them what they want, and then they kind of strayed a bit, and then I think now they back on track.
Yeah.
Mm.
Bethesda at one point was that as well. Oh, we're all about the people, the community, and all that, and then they strayed away for a bit, and then I don't know where
No, I
they
don't
are
think they're
right
back.
now.
I don't
They're
think
not
they're
back,
back
right?
yet. I
Yeah,
think
like,
I think Fallout has done a good job of bringing eyeballs back to their IPs.
right.
So the
You mean the
TV show,
series?
yeah, the TV
Right.
show.
Okay.
So I think the install base now for Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas, a lot of
Okay.
people look like they're giving it another go,
Mm.
like another playthrough at the very least.
Right. So then my question is, that what every studio is doing? Is that what they're doing? They're just churning out so that they can churn out another thing that ties to another thing. Because you remember like how Marvel used to do it? They would cross over a title that wasn't doing so well. So if you want to read more about the Dark Phoenix saga, you have to
Oh
buy that
yeah.
comic book that no one buys, right?
I thought we were
So
done with this with the Matrix, man. It doesn't work. Enough. Stop telling me to read. Go to multiple. I don't want to watch the DVD and
Oh,
buy
you're
yeah,
the
talking
comic.
about the Animatrix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah.
dude, we. I mean, till today, I still have no idea why is the KFC colonel there. Who is he? Why? Why?
Oh
The
my god.
architect.
I this is the first time I've come across somebody who like Armand doesn't like the additional content. We had like a big argument. Armand and I had a big argument about Prometheus, and I said that all the precursor content
Yeah.
builds the world, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Why the fuck do I need to build the world? I'm gonna go to watch the movie already. Like, either do it there or don't fucking do it." And I was just like, "But I like it." I was like, "It's cool."
Oh, okay. Joshua, hear me out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
Oh, he's already
imagine?
on your side, bro. He's already
Oh yeah.
there.
Can you
I'm on
imagine?
your side, bro.
Okay. So we'll go back to our universe, right? What we do on the daily, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
I have a marketing strategy here. I go, we'll release the video, but it's a 15-second. No one has no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you go, in order for you to understand, you need to see the pre-net.
Yeah.
And then you see the pre-net and go like, I still don't get it. Or you need to see the billboard down in Jalan Atin Hapan in Taman Tun.
come
Mm.
on.
Right. And then you go like, oh, okay, now I understand what the band's trying to do. So to me, I feel like a messaging channel should convey as much as possible. But if you want to find out more, then you read it up. Right?
True. Okay. I totally agree with you, Armand. But I think where you and I agree earlier, right? It's if you give me a piece of narrative or content or even messaging, right? Then we would expect basically if I sit for a movie, I don't need to read the comic. I don't need to go to your website. I don't need to
Mm,
see your YouTube prologue to understand. Don't ask me to go on Netflix to find out your Kingslayer stuff.
Yeah.
I want to play your game, and get me into the narrative, right? But where
Right.
it kind of differs a little bit from what we do when it comes to marketing and advertising, a little bit, right, is that when it comes to capitalism and encouraging someone to buy something, right? and this is something movies and video games do anyway, right? It's just different assets, different communications for different points. So, for example, if the printout is there, it's for your awareness, but the website is there for your consideration, because we're not going to be automatically, and it's all human, right? It's all logic where I'm not going to be convinced to buy something straight away. Nobody's a Nike or an Adidas. Let's face facts, right? Because most brands are, you know, two out of the three of us now are wearing a Nike related is for a reason. You know what I'm saying? But that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
And I just came back from somewhere buying Puma shoes. You know what I'm saying? So
You
like,
bought them?
yeah, I did. That's
You oh no. Okay, we're gonna talk about this after you finish your
okay.
point.
Yes, but the point is that not every brand gets to skip the queue, and the
Yeah.
queue
Yeah,
is
okay.
unfortunately for most brands, and it's fine. It's most of us don't get late on the first date. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we gotta go out for coffee. We gotta go to
Unless you're
the
Ryan
fun
Reynolds.
fair. We gotta get that. We gotta sit down for a card game that we don't really like. In one of those board game places. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Can we just get leader? So it doesn't work that. So it
Mhm.
has to work that way. Is my point. So I think the point here is that, for instance, if we think about a movie that's just about to come out, right? You will see the pre-rolls, you will see the ads on social and all. It serves that purpose. But when I sit my ass in a cinema, right? Don't tell me that for me to understand your father's backstory in order to really understand where you're coming from in this movie that I'm trying to enjoy right now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Don't tell me to read something else, because it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's for sure. Okay, let's just shifting gears a little bit. Let's talk about we talked about it yesterday, Helldivers, right? And like Helldivers, it's doing things differently, right? The loyalty comes from the fact that you're kind of not knowing what the developer is going to throw at you next.
Mhm.
And the developer has decided that, you know what? All our communique is going to be done in the most ludicrous government super earth propaganda style. Okay? We will deny
Started
everything
first.
that kills you and we will support everything that does it, for example, right? And they do things in a really corny way. Like I was just sharing yesterday, we were playing Helldivers with me and two other colleagues, and they got a special weapon drop because you have to choose between two plans to save, and one of them gives you a bazooka that's a spread shot,
Yeah.
but when you use it, you can't shoot it if anyone's to the left or right of you because it kill your own teammates. But but they didn't say that the weapon's going to be good. They just said, well, use it. Go
There's a
ahead,
warning
try it. You
label.
never know what's going to happen, right? Like they keep things interesting, and the community is like, I guess this is what war must be like. They come with a new technology and accidentally kills people, and then you beta test it until it works. You know what I mean? But I figured like that's probably a developer right now. I don't remember the name of the developer. I think I can't remember what it was, but they're doing a really good job
Mm,
of retaining the fan base
mm,
by keeping them loyal and hungry, and not
mhm,
talking about things like uh, what's the next DLC or war bond you need to buy or battle pass.
Mm.
mhm.
I'm wondering like does the you know does the pursuit of money blind everybody from the fact that like if I pay money for something, I should get something in return, and you shall have to earn my trust so that you can have a repeat purchase.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's got to be sort of the mantra moving forward, right? Because I think we talked about it just now. Why are we going to pay $70 for a
Mm,
game
mm,
only to receive 30% of the game, and for you to work on it for the rest of the year, or 2 years or 3 years, for it to become 100% of what you said it was in the first place?
Mm.
right.
And if it doesn't make the sales, you just kill it anyways.
Mm.
Mhm, mhm.
Like, why do we have to continue with this shitty consumer behavior, right?
Mm.
I think it's one of the discussions that we had in a couple of episodes ago. Like I love that we are, you know,
Yeah.
having all these callbacks to all episodes. Watch it now in the links below. Is
I'll make
that
a playlist.
is that when they come up with an idea, right? What comes first, right? Some developers go, okay, I want to create an awesome game, but then the bigger company goes, how much will that make me,
Mm.
right? So is that what Helldivers is doing is literally, you know what, I just want to make a cool game. That's it. And I
Mhm.
realize a lot of ideas, a lot of IPs, doesn't matter, movies, music, whatever it is. If the standpoint is I want to share something to the world, it's not I want to make $1 million out of it. It's most of the time usually good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. Fair enough.
Mm.
right? But when a company comes in and go, how can we make money out of it? It usually falls flat. All right. So in order for us to, I wouldn't say, I don't think you can stop it, but it's kind of hard to stop it because the only way to stop it is to not buy the game. Is
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
say, right?
Voting with your
It's like
dollar, right?
Yeah.
correct. It's like say telling them we're not gonna buy Outcast. Even if you put it at $50, we're not gonna buy it until you stop this predatorial type of sales, right? We just want to play games. That's all we want. We want to consume. Give us a price to it. If it's $50, let it be $50. We as consumers will decide whether it's worth $50 or not. You don't tell us
Mm.
what's it worth. Oh, with this you get a golden shoe. With that you get like a golden ray gun. Like no, no, no. You give me the option,
Mm.
right? Give me everything, and then I'll go. We want more. Oh, okay, cool. We'll introduce this DLC. It's optional. It won't change the game. You want it, you buy it. All right. So going back to again what Apex is, and I think why Apex is still trending, right?
Mm.
Is
Yeah.
they're just making the base game and then go, yeah, we've got this other stuff, some cool thingy thing that you want. If you want, you can buy it, but we're not forcing it
Yeah.
down your throat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, the answer is it still has to go back to the consumer. Like the power is to the consumer.
Yeah. Man, I think it is true, right? But I think it's also, I think what makes it fall flat is, I mean, I think most of us being what, within our roles and also what we enjoy in terms of video games, music, movies, all kinds, right? I think um we're not deep in the fantasy where people or creators or developers do something. I mean, I'm sure they do enjoy it and they want to share it with the world. I think that's fair, right? But I do also understand that most of this is okay. At what cost? Because nothing's for free, right? It's not a
Mm.
charity. We're developing something. People need to get paid. People need to live. People need to eat, etc., etc. I think that's reality, right? And I think it's not wrong for either shareholders, owners, leaders to ask, okay, how much are we going to make off of this? It's fair because again,
Yeah.
this is not
It's a
charity.
business.
Yeah. But what actually makes it fall flat, I feel, is the pursuit of profit is fine, but the insistence on greed is the one that kills us.
Yes.
So that is the one where if you're gonna feel that, oh, if you start having conversations in your head as a
Mm.
leader, how can I stretch my buck, right? That is the start of your root of evil, where you, I get it, you want to
That's
be efficient, you want to
Hmm.
be productive, you want to be as return on ROI as high as possible.
right.
But then if you start asking, how can I peel back and earn more
Mm.
on top of that, I think that's where it goes into the insistence on greed, and that people can see through it, right?
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
that
I'm so
was.
sorry. I had to jump in. I just
Yeah, go
love
ahead.
that because again, it just brings me back to the Dark Knight, right?
Hmm.
Either be the hero or
Yeah.
leave yourself going as civilian. And again, we look at all these big tech companies.
Yeah.
Google, wow, back then it was like five guys in the garage just wanting to make a difference. Now, oh, it's evil Google,
Yeah.
right? Apple, oh my God, Steve Jobs, innovation. I want to push the boundaries on technology. Now it's like a freaking airport cost me like $500. Like
Hmm.
what?
Mm.
Right. So I love that line where pursuit of profit is okay, but the greed makes it bad.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where you go, I need your money, fellow consumers, to continue to make things that you love, right?
Yeah.
But I also have a lot of stakeholders who are greedy, who wants me to make more money for them. Hence, I'm doing all this.
Mm-hmm.
I, I feel like we talked about something similar as a solution before, which is regulation. And the
Mm,
fact that, like, we talked about it in loot boxes, right? Like, why is the battle pass more prevalent now than before? It's
mm,
because it's to curtail loot boxes, right? You still have to give value for something, and you're, in essence, earning it by paying for the access to this battle pass.
mm,
But also at the end of that spectrum is looking at the situation and saying, well, what should $30 get you as a game? What should $10 get you as a game? What should $50 get you as a game? And what should 100 get you? Right?
right.
Does this translate to how many hours spent in game, or
Mm,
should
mm.
it translate to how expansive the world is? So like 150 gigs, 200 gigs of download space or whatever, right? What is
Oh, I love this.
what is going to be the determining factor? Because I don't have the answer either, right? Like I'm sort of
Right,
posing the question without knowing
right,
what the answer is going to be.
right. I like. Okay, sorry, Joshua. I just need to
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah,
Like
no.
you're just firing. I just had this idea, right?
Mm.
What if other medias followed video games? Can you imagine? Oh, you pay 10 ringgit for this movie. It's half the movie. You want to see the full movie? You pay $50, 50 ringgit. I was like, what?
Mm,
Can you imagine if movies did that? Like,
Oh man,
oh,
I'd be
you can
so
only
pissed.
see part one of the trilogy.
mm.
If you pay like $100 more, you can see the second and the third. Like, can you imagine the riots that would happen?
You know
But
what?
it's just what?
For certain shows, like I watched Rebel Moon recently.
Uh huh.
Oh my god! I
Oh
wish
God.
someone had said, "Hey, if you want to watch the rest of this, pay $5." I'd be like, "No."
Mm.
But
Some,
see, can you imagine other mediums share the similar trait with video games? Like
well, I
they
mean,
won't survive, though, right?
all news portals are the same now. They give you a paragraph and they go pay for a fucking subscription. Fuck off!
Yeah,
I just want to read your stupid content. I'll watch the ad.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'll watch the ad. You know, guys, it's fine. It's
Yeah,
only
Okay.
just keep it to 30 seconds. It's fine. I'll watch the ad. Just let me read the rest of the article because I need it to do my job. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So then I remember I had this idea, right? I go, what if content was free? Like I'll follow the what YouTube was doing or is doing, right?
yeah.
What if music was free, but the cover album had brands on it,
Mm,
and in between songs you had to listen to ads, but the album was free?
yeah.
What if video games were free, but everywhere on the video game there are brands plastered over, like signboards, Coke, Apple, and all that? How would that differ?
Okay. I
Mm.
mean, it uh, it would suck.
Yeah,
Just
I know.
plainly, it
Elden
suck,
Ring's
right? Like,
Coca
yeah.
Cola.
Actually,
I'm not saying that because it happens in Hong Kong, right? Hong Kong movie stars, and when they release albums, they're also part of the album's proceeds are paid for by a drink brand or jeans brand or whatever brand. I mean, they've monetized in lots of different ways because the market's small
mm,
compared to anywhere else might be in the world, right?
Mm.
yeah.
But this whole idea that like, okay, I want to see what an accountant's appraisal of a triple A title's assets is. All
Uh-huh.
right, if we can, as advertising people, put an hour
Ring.
cost,
Yeah.
yeah, an hourly rate to an FA artist's time, a
Yeah.
graphic artist's time, a graphic designer's time, a
Yeah.
art director's time, a CD's time, whatever. What the fuck is the programmer's time that worth?
Right?
Mm,
Because yeah, I get it. You might have put like a, a combined 100,000 hours of animation development and programming into a game, but if you're only releasing 30% of the game on day one and it's fucking bunk ass, and
mm,
you have to fix it over the course of 5 fucking years, No
mm.
Man's
Right.
Sky, like I don't. Okay, I paid for the game full price, but like I haven't tried to reinstall it because why the fuck would you just? I don't know.
But
I don't
sorry,
know.
Joy, it's just so funny because you brought up the whole hourly rates and all that. Because I remember having to do that for clients, like going to Nestle, like, okay, my director is gonna spend 20 hours, it's gonna
You
cost
get
him
so
like
close to home.
300 per hour, right? Yeah,
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 exactly.
yeah.
But you see, those are the rates to the clients. The company pays you a flat salary.
True.
So
Of
you
course.
have like 20 clients under you, but to one client you are charged 20 hours, 300 an hour, right?
Yep, yep,
Mm.
yep.
So I think it's the same thing with developers as well. Like, oh, you're now going to be on FIFA because you're
Mm.
not doing anything now. You finish your run on PS, now go do FIFA, right? Or something like that.
Mm.
So in terms of paying, I don't think it's an hourly rate, John. I think it's the same as how we get paid, right?
It's flat
Two
rate, right?
hours,
Yeah.
2 days. Yeah, 2 hours, 2 days. Doesn't matter how long I worked. I'm still getting paid the same amount. Same thing with you guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So then how then do you introduce that level of payment to software? So one of the things that I could think of is, could they do it like how they do it in movies? Like ticket sales. So I'll pay you X amount if the game makes 2 million sales, right? Is that something that it's doable?
It could be, but
Points, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, sharing the cut of the pie could be right, but
Mm,
I think because okay, each industry has had its history in terms of how it's how things work, how they monetize, and so on, right? So gaming is one where it's very normal to have like satellite teams.
Yeah.
People after that will just lose their jobs. It's just per normal. Once the title's out, they have to, at
Move
least
on.
for the majority of them, except for the creative directors and main producers and so on, they stay on, but the rest of the working team just goes off, right? So I guess if it's part of the royalties and so on that we're talking about, right, the sharing of the pie, gaming has gotten so lucrative. I think if I'm not mistaken, the numbers are like minimum now 5 times of what Hollywood actually makes.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Insane. And that was numbers based off of maybe 3 years ago. Now I don't know how much is it.
Mm.
It must be crazy high, right? So for them to speculate and to say that okay, you will get, let's say, even 2% of sales, right? It's kind of surrendering a lot. And that's where people start to come in and, shareholders start to come in and say, like, hey, don't touch my pie, This pie is big.
Mm,
So
Mm.
I think they kind of use the it's a good suggestion where, hey, why not we go into, because this is kind of like profit sharing mode, right?
Yeah.
mm,
But I think in reality they're like, no, 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 we've never done this, we're not going to do this, this has never
mm,
been done before, it doesn't sound like very good practice because X, Y, and Z. But the truth
mm.
is because there's too much to be made, right, off of something, and they're like, no, not going to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to do it that way, right? Obviously, I mean, you would give points off of the title to maybe the title's creator, the
Mm.
guy who's
Maybe.
engineering the world and all that, right? Or the creative director, or whoever it is that might be the EP of the game or whatever. Those guys will probably get some points off the sales
Mm.
because of who they are.
Mm.
But like, actually, to be honest, I feel like if you're in Europe or America or a place that is what we consider to be a modern society, if you're working in gaming, you should be working on a freelance contract forever.
Mm.
Mm,
If and until you are ready to make your own game and be a business owner or
Yeah.
an IP owner,
Mm-hmm.
everyone else should just be freelance. Like EA, Ubisoft, all these fucking Bethesdas and the Activision Blizzards out there, they are just keeping people on the hook
mm.
under
Mm.
the guise of your dream job is at the place that makes Warcraft.
Yeah.
Your dream
Right.
job
Yeah,
is at
yeah,
the
yeah,
place that fucking does XYZ. To be fair, I don't remember hearing Capcom laying off a bunch of people. I think they might have.
yeah. Mhm.
But even then, like I feel like it shouldn't happen because these creators, the people, the animators, the programmers, and all that kind of stuff, they should be given carte blanche to go anywhere else and create something else better. If they did it once really well, they can do it again somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
And it should be cut by contract. Pay me a contract, pay me a bonus on my contract when I complete the contract. Don't keep me on the hook for this. Oh yeah, we keep you here. Here's your benefits and blah blah blah.
Mm.
And then they get angry when they get laid off. You know what I mean? I don't know whether that makes sense. I know everything about job security is important and all that, but if you're
Mm.
worth your salt, you'll probably be able to translate that into a long term contract for yourself.
Mm.
But I mean, just sort of coming back to the whole idea of loyalty, like when Lawbreakers came out, I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh yeah.
Overwatch came out, right? And
Mm,
a lot of people were following the guy who made the game for Lawbreakers. It was some big dude. I can't remember his name was Big Ben or I don't know whatever. But he was like the guy that was responsible for Quake or something like that.
mm,
Not the Team ID guys. It was like a version of Quake or something.
mm.
Mm.
And when Lawbreakers fell through the cracks because Overwatch was much more popular and it launched before that,
Yeah.
he let a lot of fans down. You know what I mean? And not only that, like the game disappeared. All the no one had this. You could download the files, but you can't seem to host your own server. There's so
Mm.
many problems that came with that. And looking back at loyalty, to think that like, okay, yeah, I would go see a Steven Spielberg movie. I would
Mm.
go see something else with Christian Bale or whatever. I have loyalty to those. My idea of an IP in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I would go and see them do good stuff. Like Tom Cruise never let me down, right?
Mm.
So
Okay.
stop it. Jack Reacher was good, all right? Tom Cruise and Jack Reacher was good. so,
The
so
mummy.
yeah, okay, that was pretty bad. But
Yeah,
Vanilla
that was
Sky was epic, man. It was so good. No, but I felt like, okay, yeah, when it's nice to have loyalty mean something,
yeah.
Mm.
but I just don't see it happening on a grand scale. I just feel
Mm.
like it takes somebody who's struggling and has nothing else to lose but put maximum effort into a game,
Mm.
i.e., Helldivers, i.e., pick a indie game that's fucking blowing up right now,
Mm.
Mm.
Skullgirls, or it's not blowing up.
Dredge.
What's that?
Dredge.
Oh, I haven't played that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, there are a few games that are like that defy the odds, like Cuphead,
Mm.
Mm.
or you know what I mean,
That's true.
or
Shovel Knight.
Hollows. Sorry,
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight. Yeah,
I'm
they
like, yeah.
defy the odds. They come out and they stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Will we ever trust Nintendo again and give them the loyalty that they think they deserve because of like all the missteps that they've done recently with the loss of emulation on so many different platforms? I don't know. I vote
Yes.
my dollar. I'm not going to buy another Nintendo Switch.
Sorry. I would. And I think because they're when you talk about Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
The quality is there consistently. So I think it's gonna
You
be
mean
harder.
the seal of approval?
Yeah, yeah. So maybe for like Nintendo's case, it's gonna be harder to lose that loyalty. But John, going back to what you mentioned earlier, right? So this kind of makes me remember back. Do you guys recall Mighty Number Nine?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Spiritual successor to Mega Man.
yeah, the spiritual successor to Mega Man. Right? So in when it was basically before during the process, it was going through being kickstarted, right? And
Mm.
the creator was Toshiki Inoue, if I'm not
Yeah, the guy
mistaken.
who created Mega Man.
Yeah. So
Mm.
he brought on a lot of goodwill from basically what he did with Rockman and Mega Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through from the original to the X series and so on. But I think Mighty Number Nine really killed him
Mm.
because he allowed others to meddle with what
Was his
his,
recipe?
yeah,
Yeah.
with his recipe. So because ultimately what came out was nowhere close to what they even talked about, right?
Mm.
And I think then and there people will just like, I don't know if I can ever trust someone like him again, you know? So, but then his story is different than Hideo Kojima's story
Mm. Mm-hmm.
because that man is insane. But from that insanity, he made basically transporting fun. I don't know how that works, but anyway,
A walking simulator.
a walking
Yeah.
simulator of fun. I mean, it had its detractors, but that level of insanity was still there. So it was still Kojima, right? So I think that's like it goes back to if it's on loyalty, right? There's only so much that you should. I think you still got to hold on to your values. People can see that,
Mm.
and I think that's why till today people are still they're okay with Death Stranding too. You know, the second phase of a walking simulator. Like, no. How much can you walk in the game? bro?
a lot more.
A lot more.
You can now prance.
DLC
Samurai
available
side.
for you to break into a short sprint.
That's right. Pay $5 more for the DLC.
Press shift to activate.
Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, I think both of you had valid points, and I love how you encapsulated, Joshua, like what it means to be loyal, right? Like Kojima, why people are loyal to Kojima, and then why people are loyal to certain IPs, and why people are loyal to certain creators is because at one point they knew each other. So again, loyalty comes from love, right?
Mm,
Hmm.
In a way, loyalty comes from love, right? I can't be loyal to you if I don't trust you.
correct.
I can't be loyal to you if I don't know you. I
Yep.
can't be loyal to you if I don't know your intentions,
Yep.
right? So that is the basis of what loyalty comes from, right? So people can say, oh yeah, it's trust. Not really. It's a amalgamation of a lot of things, right?
Yep.
But for studios to just keep churning this kind of nonsense, where does the loyalty for the end user stop, right? At what point do we say enough is enough? We're not having it from you guys, right? And it, like, to me, I feel like they're just gonna keep producing all these things until we stop, right? Like John and I was talking about how MKPHD was gonna bankrupt a company, right?
Mm.
Just by a bad review. But
Mm,
because he's reviewing from a consumer point of view, I go, I'm a consumer. You're not giving me what I want, right? You promised XYZ, but now it's not. And I'm giving you a bad review, and now you're blaming me for how your company is turning out. Because again, you said this, but you didn't deliver. And again, somehow or other, Outlaws, they are, I swear to God, John, they're gonna use this whole, oh, is it because it's a female thing? Right? Is it because
no.
it's a
Bro,
her solo, not a Han solo?
I oh no, man, I can't do this thing with people anymore where it don't matter anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let me just get it out there. I'm a product of a single parent home. All right, my mother raised me. My
Right.
dad passed away long before I turned 8.
Mm,
All right,
Mm,
and like the thing is like a woman raised me. I have very strong feelings about women who work because my mom worked, and I expect my wife to work. She
mm,
works.
mm.
So, like, I have a very set point of view in the world. That does not
mm.
make me a sexist,
Yeah.
okay? But, like, I don't mind strong female characters. But that's not why your shit sucks.
Yeah.
Marvel's
Yeah.
sucks ass because the story was bad.
Yep.
Mm,
If the story was good, I'd be all over those tits.
yeah.
Yeah, fine, whatever, leave that in there. Fuck it, I don't care. But,
Yep.
like, the truth is that it's just not good. So I don't
Yep.
fuck with it. If it's not
Yeah.
good,
Yep.
why fuck with it? I remember when Shazam came out. Shazam's the second movie.
The second one.
Fury of the gods or
Yeah,
whatever.
and the main actor, just sat on camera and cried a bitch ass about how people don't support the movie and la 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 wah wah wah. But bro, your movie sucks.
Mm,
It was
Yeah.
the most unwatchable piece of trash I've ever seen in my life. Lucy Liu can't save it. Helen Mirren
Yep.
can't save it.
Yep.
Fucking hell, man! If you had a talking dog, it wouldn't save it. You just can't. It can't be done. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, don't invent reasons for why something is not good. I get
yeah.
it. Like, we all don't want to fail,
Yeah.
but I'm not angry that we only have 30 people that watch this podcast.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm thankful we have 30 people who watch this podcast, right? Like,
I'm
Yeah.
thankful for 30 people.
yeah, okay, I'm
Yeah.
thankful.
Thank
Okay,
you, 30 people.
yeah, 30 people might be me also. So, like, 29 people,
Multiple
all right?
times. What is that?
Just to see whether we uploaded right. But
Hey, but guys, I think this calls back. I mean, this makes me remember about. Okay, do you guys recall what happened to Resident Evil?
oh,
Okay,
you mean the
so
film?
the
Those
everything, the
craptacular
IP,
Mila
The everything.
Jovovich?
so this is what this is a it's a really good example for something of a redemption story, right?
Mm,
Where at that point in time, because of the whole superhero bit and the buddy cop thing, everything was so big at that time. Where RE6 really fucked things up. It
mm.
was so bad. It was Chris coming with Leon, coming with Jill. Everybody just comes together and then we're gonna take on the world. You know, it's kind of bullshit.
Mhm.
But it got so
Somebody's
bad,
angry.
guys, where their loyalty for that IP really suffered because
Yeah.
everybody was like, okay, first you forced upon me a dumb AI from RE5, and then now you give me this Buddy Holly thing for RE6. And it was so bad that basically people just gave up on Resident Evil. But then in turn, right, it made them reset what
The
they
narrative,
felt,
yeah.
what Biohazard and what Resident Evil was.
Yeah.
And it actually allowed, I don't know what, I think it transpired quite closely to each other where they developed a whole engine, the
Mhm.
RE engine, right,
Mm.
Okay.
based off of Resident Evil 7. And what they had to do with Resident Evil 7 was they were like, okay, let's look back at this. Let's bring back to its horror roots. What was RE1? It was enclosed, it was claustrophobic, it was let's just drop people in the village, just in a house.
Oh
And let's
yes.
make it even more scary, even more personal. Let's make it first person.
Oh, Colonial Marines.
Right. So,
Mhm.
and from there, they just, and you see where the brand is at now. It's proper planning from 7 to 8, and then from reviving their remix, right? In fact, they're one of the better ones that actually have done remix. Like I
Mhm.
think RE4 just came out last year and it was to quite rave reviews because they managed to balance new things for based off of old content, but also introducing old content to new viewers.
Mhm.
Right.
So I think that's how you get back your loyalty, where you kind of just have to look back to your roots and like, okay, what were we there for in the first place, all the way back in 1992, was it?
Bro, but I gotta you. If they were rewinding the tapes, what the fuck is Call of Duty duty, man? Like what? Like, well, let's go back to Modern Warfare 2, 3. Come on. I mean, I get what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, they are rehashing this whole thing, and they're doing a good job of remaking it, right? And going back to the understanding of what made them popular.
Yeah.
But I feel like some people, I don't. Some people do it well. Some people don't do it well. I just
Mhm.
don't I wonder sometimes, like, how much more are we willing to endure? Like you said before, we
Mm.
stop voting with a dollar.
Yeah.
Yep. May I just point something out though?
Mm,
Japanese company, American company.
yeah. Okay,
Mm.
for sure. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yes,
Actually, I wanted to bring something up. I want to ask a question. Street Fighter 6, good game, or people in it? Again, this is calling all the way back to when we talked about the launch. All right,
Mm.
is it that, or is it because people play it because they want the $1 million prize pool for as long as that is active? Is that
Yeah.
dream?
It's a good game.
Okay,
It is. Yes, people have. I mean, sorry if I may go first, because I'm
yeah,
actually
no,
and I
go
still
ahead.
suck at it, by the way. But I think as compared to, and it's and they're not innocent from this because there is also paid content there.
Hmm.
There is a battle pass where we all know what the battle pass is because it's basically just for someone to put their CRM report together and tell, oh, this is
Hey.
how many active users you have at one point. I mean,
Can
this
you
is our
imagine being in a
game, right?
boardroom in
I mean,
Capcom?
literally, we play the game, but this is also our game in terms of engagement, right? We know this shit
Mm,
because we're marketing people,
yeah.
Mm.
right? But I think what they did really well was that, again, quite similar to what happened to Resident Evil, right?
Hmm.
SF5 really fucked things up. It was so bad, and they felt that they could, okay, we take the um, pros direction on this. We're not going to release full content. We're going to do what we have to do. But it
Yeah, you're
really
right. They
wasn't.
forgot the consumer.
Yeah, they forgot the consumer. But that's why SF6 came out. The mechanics are it's havoc, guys. It's crazy. So many things to think at one time, right? But what they
Mm.
actually did well was they had a single player content. I think a lot of reviewers came up and
Mm,
said that this is basically buying a two-in-one game.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was again, it was right because they put in the effort. They look back at themselves and they're like, okay, what what is my call? Who am I, right?
Mm,
And they kind of answered that. I think where some companies falter, for instance, like NetherRealm, something is wrong there, right?
Well, I mean, they
They
just keep rehashing the
American
same old
company.
shit.
yeah,
Which one?
American company.
Yeah, yeah.
American.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I guess you're kind of right. You talked. We just touched upon it, like going back to its roots. Naming Mortal Kombat One again.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
Like, what is so fucking number one about your stupid game?
Maybe it is an American thing. Xbox Series One.
This is gonna say that.
Oh
I was just
no.
gonna say that. Oh
It's
no
not
no no
Series
no.
One. Okay, it's
360. We
Series
went
X now. All right,
360.
jeez.
Yeah, now we're going back to one. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. Exactly. What? What?
Because it's the one thing you need in your living room. Come on, guys. Come on. I don't have to connect the dots for you.
I
I don't know.
see again. American company, Japanese company. Japanese company goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Easy. Correct.
Easy. Which one? 5. Which one? 3. American Xbox. So which one? The 360 721 times 2. Which one is it again? The white one or the black one?
The one that looks like a rectangle.
Is it? You sure it's rectangle or it's supposed to equate to a square root? Which one is it? I don't
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Which one is it?
Oh, I feel attacked here, man. What the hell? Freaking PlayStation fans. Well,
I mean,
Armand, what do you think? Do you think Street Fighter is a good game? I mean, obviously,
Okay.
you and I haven't played it, right? And I'm
Yeah.
taking the cynic's point of view.
Right. Again, from what I've watched, again, when we were doing the episode, I watched a lot of content. It is a good game. And the 1 million is keeping it relevant.
I like that answer.
Mm.
I can't wait till we talk to Choin on Monday. I want to see what he thinks. I mean, obviously he's in it for the money, right? Like, if you could ever be good enough, which
Yep.
of course time is running out, but
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's
Mhm.
interesting, guys. I think
Mhm.
we pretty much covered the gamut of loyalty.
Mhm.
So let's call it. We're out.
cool.